Welcome back to the Bandwich Tapes. I'm Brad Williams, and today I'm sitting down with singer-songwriter Amber Westerman. Amber's journey runs through a few worlds, growing up in small-town Texas and farming on the Big Island of Hawaii. She then headed to Nashville to chase the work more professionally before realizing she needed a path that actually felt like home. We talk about what it means to stay authentic in an industry that constantly rewards trends, the mental tug-of-war of social media, and the freedom and fear of doing it independently. Amber also opens up about her intense vocal journey, coaching, confidence, even vocal nodules, and the tools that helped her rebuild her voice in a healthy way. Here's my conversation with Amber Westerman.
High heel walking in a concrete jungle, pounding that pavement just to make a dime, feeling disconnected and it's no wonder, 'cause I don't ever get to go and play outside, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I need to touch grass. I want a time machine so I can take me back to Barefoot Days. Mama's on the front porch, supper's on the table, finding ways. Stretch summertime nights for the streetlights came on. Wild and free we roam like a firefly light show. I'm still chasing those Barefoot Days.
Amber, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the podcast. How are you today?
I am so great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I've been listening to your music. I love your songwriting, love your singing. It's just great stuff. I'm a fan.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We were getting to know each other a little bit before we started and finding out the geography of where we are, and you are settled back in Texas. So how long have you been back in
Yes.
Texas?
I've been back here for about a year and a half. I spent about 8 years outside of the state and traveling around. I lived in a few different places, and it feels so good to be home, which I never thought I would say before. I was ready to leave when I left.
Yeah. It's my son lives in Austin, not from Austin, but he feels, I mean, it's like he's a Texan now. I think
Yeah.
he's like, I get it. I get why people from Texas are so proud of Texas. It's just it's a way of life there.
Yeah. And I mean, Austin specifically, I feel like is a really unique city because it's very outdoorsy, and there's like a lot of nature in the city and just a lot of active people and a beautiful music community. And yeah, it's just a really cool spot to be.
Yeah. And I would imagine for what you do as a singer and as a songwriter that's like fertile ground to be in a creative place like that.
100%. Yeah. And what's funny is before I moved around a bit, whenever I was living in Texas, I wasn't pursuing music yet professionally. I was just playing my guitar quietly in my room. And so this is kind of the first time I've ever been here as a professional, like getting into the industry. And so it's been a whole new experience, and it's just been really fun. And the community here is very welcoming, and I feel like very supportive of independent artists. So it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Are you thankful that because I know you lived in Nashville as well, are you thankful that you had the time in other places kind of honing that before you came back to Texas to do it as a professional? Are you glad
Yeah.
that the order of which it all happened?
I really am. Yeah. I actually like started my music career whenever I found myself living in Hawaii before Nashville, which is really random. I was
That's
a
amazing.
farmer out there. And when I was out there farming, my friends were just encouraging me to get on stage. And that was kind of whenever I started falling in love with the performing side. And then in Nashville, I went to Nashville to pursue it more professionally and start recording. And I was really grateful for my time there and the connections that I made there. And I still like to go there for work, but I just learned that scene isn't really the scene that felt like home for me. I'm also a water person. There's water everywhere out here, and there's not much clean water like near Nashville.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful just for the journey that took me here, because I mean, if I stayed in Texas, I don't know if I would be I'm sure I would have eventually been doing this professionally, I guess, but just because it's where my heart, I've wanted to be a singer since a little girl. But before I left, I was actually a health coach, and I was running my own business doing that. And so that was kind of where I started here. And who knows, I could be still doing that if I was here and never left.
Does that? I get the sense that you're in the midst of this meaningful stretch right now with new music. It seems like you have this, I get the sense you have this good sense of direction of where you're going. How does all of this currently feel for you? Is it feeling good?
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, honestly, I don't have like a super specific plan for moving forward, other than I just kind of formed a band to back my music live, and I'm wanting to go in that direction a little bit more with live shows. And then I've got music lined up to release and record as well. But as far as like how all of that's going to get done, because it's a very expensive venture to take, I don't really know, but I find a lot of comfort in the unknown. Because I feel like that's where a lot of miracles unfold and a lot of magic happens. So I'm kind of just here for the ride and just showing up with what is presented to me and following my heart with it all. And it's really fun to do that.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I'm just super happy for you. And I think the path that you took to get to where you are it's unique, but at the same time, it just feels, whether it seemed like it at the time, it seemed calculated, and it seemed like it got you to the place where you needed to be when you needed to be there, which seems really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with that journey, these last few years have been they were kind of like a curveball for me, and it was really different. And so I'm in a place right now too where I'm a little more open with everything, because I ended up actually after I released my EP a couple years ago, I started working. I signed a contract with a development team and started working with a development team. And I kind of stopped releasing and stopped promoting my music so much and started working behind the scenes, doing more like vocal development and other type of development work. And Barefoot Days, my newest single, was kind of something that I had been working on with them and with my voice coach for the last year and a half. And so if you hear my old music and my new music, my voice has changed quite a bit. It's a lot more powerful, and my style is a little bit different. And I think that's more just influenced by my Nashville, Texas time. And so it's kind of part of that like ride of the unknown. I'm just been flowing with it. And I have recently kind of branched off from my development team and just started working on my own again, which I'm really excited for, because I was really excited to have them, and I learned a lot from them in the process. But I feel like one of the things we as independent artists can easily take advantage of is the amount of freedom that we have with our choices when we're on our own. And it feels scary and so good to have like full freedom with what I want to do with my music again.
Oh, I completely agree. And I think for all that's said about the unknown landscape that this streaming world is now for the music industry, I would say for independent artists, it's like the most fertile time, because you're not tied to labels, or you can release whenever you want. You can release whatever you want. You can release it in the order that you want. And I think that I agree with you that freedom that you have right now is like, it's amazing that you can do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah. It feels really good. So,
yeah, that's great. So, I was reading about some of your influences: Casey Musgraves, Jason Mraz, Brandi Carlile. Sarah Jaros, and I have to tell you, I just interviewed Sarah Jaros last week. She's going to be on the
I
podcast.
heard. I'm so
Yes.
excited to check that out.
Yeah, we had such a good time chatting. What did each of them, because I think there's a wonderful through line with all of them as great songwriters, but also they're very unique musical personalities. And I would love to know what each of them were to you, what their thing was a model for you as an artist and as a songwriter.
Yeah, so I feel like the one main thread that connects them all for me is they all seem to like, I mean, I don't know them personally, but based on what I have seen of them in the public eye, is they all seem to really lead with their heart with everything that they do. And that is a big part of what I want to do, and I do as an artist. I want my music to be very heartfelt and something that can actually be of service to people and help people in their own lives. And I feel like that's a common thread in all of their music. And but they also inspire me in different ways. Like Jason Mraz, I feel like is a very beautiful example of that. And I have been a fan of him for a very, very long time. And he kind of influences my more island vibey music from like that I used to record. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a wonderful songwriter. I love his heart. And I actually did get to meet him in Hawaii when I lived out there, which was really cool.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was blown away whenever I met him. It was at a music festival out there, and I saw him a few times that weekend. And I was blown away by like I ran into him at a lunch spot, and he said hi to me because we'd already met. And then I saw he like got up and left, and I saw as he was walking out the door in the shopping center that we were at, every single person that walked by him in the shopping center recognized him, stopped him, and wanted a picture with him. And he like was so present with every single person that stopped him and was so incredibly happy to be there with him and take a picture and make their day. And I just feel like that energy is so rare in fame. And that is something that I really value in any person. It doesn't matter if they're famous or not, is like the level of presence. And I felt that with him when he talked to me too. I felt like he was like staring into my soul, and it was a little nerve-wracking. But that's something that's really inspiring to me with him. And Casey Musgraves too. I really love like ethereal type of music, and I love that. I feel like I get a lot of my inspiration with that from her. It just really connects with my heart. And Brandi Carlile has been mostly inspiring me vocally. I like use some of her songs to help me where I'm challenged vocally, and just help my vocals reach places that it hasn't before. And so that's been really fun. I love the power that she has in her voice, and it's such a power that just like makes the words so much stronger than they already are. And that's really inspiring to me. And then Sarah Jaros, I love how soothing her music is. I just love soothing music. And I thought her newest album is my favorite. I think it's so beautiful. And I thought it was really funny that I didn't even realize this, but her co-writer on the album is the same writer that wrote Casey Musgraves' last couple albums with her. And I was like, that's so wild. So I kind of have a goal one day to just like write with him, because I feel like I'd vibe with him really well.
Who is the I know she co-wrote some with John Randall. I don't know if John Randall's the guy that she co-wrote with. I don't know if Casey did, but I know Sarah did on some tracks on that new album.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with him. I'll have to look him up though. The guy I'm talking about is Daniel Tashian. He's based in Nashville.
Oh yeah, Daniel Tashian. Yeah,
he's wonderful.
He produced that album too. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Randall, you need to check him out. He's also from Texas, and I think the thing that I love about Sarah's music is what I immediately could tell about yours is that it has perspective, in that you've gone and been in different places and you've done different things, but at the heart of it, Texas is still there, and it's still at the heart of it. And I do think that there's something about people from Texas that are songwriters that places in the DNA of the songs that you write.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and her and I both kind of grew up on the countryside out here. Like I grew up in Marble Falls, which is about an hour from Austin, and she grew up, I believe, in Wimberley, which is I
Hmm.
think about the same stretch in a different direction, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful little town. And I'm so grateful that I grew up out there. I wouldn't live there now just because it's a little far out of the way for all that I like to do and be a part of. But it's something different about being a part of like a little country community out here.
Yeah.
Everybody's just so loving and present with each other and connected. And yeah.
It's amazing. I do want to ask you about Hawaii, though. I mean, how
Yeah.
cool is that? You lived in Hawaii. What do you think that environment unlocked for you musically?
Mm. Well, it mostly it unlocked writing for me was a big part of
Hmm.
it. I originally went out there with a school program at a university that I was going to for
Hmm.
farming. And I ended up, when I was out there, dropping out of school and decided to stay. And
It
whenever,
happens. It's all right.
yeah. And I bring that up because the university I was going to, it was a really unique little hippie university from Iowa, and it's called Maharishi, or it's called something different now, but it was called Maharishi University of Management at the time. And it was created by a guru from India who brought transcendental meditation to the United States. And when I started going there, I learned how to do transcendental meditation and started meditating. And that really started to unlock in me. I'll get to the Hawaii part in just a second. That started to unlock in my mind my self-criticism. I've always been very judgmental towards my own words and towards myself and accepting my words. And whenever, right around the time I went out there with that program, I wrote my very first song. And then while I was out in Hawaii farming, I was barefoot in the soil all day, every day, and like 40 plus hours a week. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like that was one of the most creative times in my life. And they say that the island, I was on the big island of Hawaii where the active volcano is. And they say it's a very, being like, land is still being creative out there. Energetically, it's a very creative island. And so I felt like that was a very creative time because I was just constantly listening in my headphones, like picking green beans and cutting salad greens out of the field and stuff, and constantly like recording song ideas and writing. And so that time, plus like my meditations, were really helping unlock this creative side of me where I felt like I could accept my own voice. My songs I was writing weren't the greatest because I was so new to it, but I think that's an important part, is like, it's okay to write even bad music because you're not going to write good music until you write bad music.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
great.
that was a big part of what Hawaii did for me. And then also it got me to start performing and feel comfortable with performing and collaborating with other musicians. There was a really rich little music community in the town that I lived in. And I had a very short-lived band out there, and we played a handful of gigs together, and then I ended up moving away. But yeah, it was a lot that happened.
I worked with I had a bass player on the podcast who I think he lives on the Big Island still. His name is
Oh, cool.
Matt Kahula. Is
Matt
it? And
Kahula. I'm
yeah,
not sure I've heard of him. That's
yeah,
awesome
great
though.
musician. Yeah. Um, that's amazing though. And I can imagine that setting could unlock so much musically and just in terms of, yeah, like as you were talking about the self-criticism and, you know, creatives deal with a lot of that internal struggle, right?
Hmm.
Insecurity, uh, feeling like a fraud. I mean, all of those things we all deal with. And I would imagine that program, you being there, yeah, I imagine that had to have been a really special time to kind of let some of that go, which
Yeah.
certainly
It
helped.
Yeah, it really was. And I still have a really loud inner critic. I still battle with that, but I'm a lot better than I once was because of my time there and a lot of the inner work I've been doing since then. And I feel like another thing that's like helped me with that is collaborating. Like I feel like there in the like indie artist community, there can be this thing where it's downplayed the value of co-writing and how co-writing can make your music be less authentic. But to me, I feel like collaborating and co-writing music with other artists and songwriters helps bring out the best in me in a writing session. And I really love it and thrive on it. And I write more music with other people than I do alone because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it might be one of those things that it might be an idea that you've kicked around and didn't think was good, but the moment you bring it up with a collaborator, they might be like, "Oh, no, let's go with that," and they may bring something to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why I love it so much, because I feel like it helps me feel more confident where I don't. And yeah, and then you just like bounce off of each other and new ideas come that you wouldn't have even thought of.
Yeah, exactly. How is doing the working with a vocal coach and going through making some changes with your voice? How has that been psychologically for you as an entertainer and as someone who sings? Has it helped? Has it made you feel more confident behind the microphone?
100%. Yeah. And my journey with my voice was very challenging. I've actually had vocal issues since I was pretty much born. I had some throat issues whenever I was young, and it made my voice like very raspy when I was a little girl. And so I've always dealt with like sinus and vocal issues, and my voice was always very breathy. And I've gone in and out of voice lessons with several vocal coaches, but the very last one that I've been working with, I don't work with him as often anymore. His thing is kind of like he likes to train his students to be their own vocal teacher, and then we go to him whenever we need him. But his name's Jamie Vendera. He is incredible, and within a year and a half time frame, I went from like no access to my chest voice to like full on access, and I can like belt songs if I need to now. And it was I will say it was a very emotional process, because
Absolutely.
I was learning. I didn't even know that my voice had the ability to belt in that way. I thought that I just had a soft voice, and he showed me that I had new sides of my voice that I didn't know about, and he helped me train it in a healthy way. And it was very emotional, because whenever I felt like I couldn't do some of the things that I wanted to with my voice, I would beat myself up, and I practice like so for hours every day. And you have to rest as much as you practice. And sometimes it's really hard to push yourself to rest whenever you really want to get something down. And so it was quite an emotional journey for me. And it still is, because I still feel like I have a lot of room to grow with my vocals. But I feel so proud of myself for how far I've come with it in such a short amount of time. So
That's
I'm
incredible.
here for it all.
Yeah, well, I'm super happy for you in that. I mean, before I was doing this podcast, I spent many years, and I still play some, but I played thousands of gigs over the years, mostly as a singer who played bass. And I went through a stretch for about 6 or 8 months where I was having a lot of throat issues from just singing too much. I was working too much and not being able to convey what you want to musically because of a limitation in your voice. I felt like I'd lost part of my identity, and I started feeling super depressed. I mean, it really took a psychological toll on me when I wasn't able to sing the way I wanted to. So I understand.
Right.
How,
yeah.
When you come through the other side and it unlocks what you want, I imagine that was like almost like a rebirth musically, to feel like you could accomplish what you've been wanting to do.
100%. And it's not like it hasn't been a straight line either. It's like I still have bad days sometimes. It's like ups and downs as I get better and better. But if you ever have, like, for anyone that has vocal issues listening to this, he turned me on to this vocal therapy tool that I am in love with. I use it every time as a warm up every day. And anytime I have a show, I warm up with it beforehand for 15 minutes. It's called the Dr. Vox. And it's this, I don't have it in here with me, but it's this little like water bottle looking thing with these little funky bong looking straws. And
I like it already.
and you sing into it and do warm-ups into it, and it like causes this back pressure on your vocal cords that acts like a massage on the vocal cords, and it really helps. And it's wild. I actually and I really relate to what you're saying with like losing your voice and feeling like you lost a sense of your identity. That happened to me actually a year ago, about a year ago to date. I healed from it. In January last year, I found out from my ENT that I had nodules on my vocal cords. And it was because, it was so frustrating. It was because I had like a 2-month-long sinus infection that I was trying to sing through and push through because I was getting ready to go into the studio to record. And he was like, yeah, you need to go on vocal rest for like 4 months. And I was just like, no, this cannot happen. And I ended up going to my voice coach, Jamie, about it. And he was like, all right, you're on vocal rest for 5 weeks. And he put me on this very specific program with this vocal therapy tool, the Dr. Vox. And my ENT was just like, there's no way they're going to be gone in that time frame. And I went ahead and I was like, well, let's just schedule an appointment, have you scope it and look at it. And I went back in 5 weeks later, they were completely gone. And I only had to back up my recording session a month, and I was so glad. And it felt so good to recover from that. Cause that's not, you don't want to get like surgery if you don't have to on your vocal cords. And but I felt that way. I was like, man, 5 weeks is a really long time for a singer to not be able to sing at all.
Yeah, and that's it.
And then I also, on top of that, had to be careful with like yelling or like speaking loudly. And apparently even whispering isn't even great for your voice.
I've heard that whispering can be as dangerous for it as yelling, which is crazy.
Yeah. So that was an interesting time in my life, but we recovered.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, and I'm with you and understand of how that emotionally can be such a beautiful thing once you get through that and feel like, oh, okay, we're through that now. And sounds like you're now. I mean, I know we all have bad days, right? As singers, we all get, especially if we're our own worst critics as well, But it sounds like you're now better than ever. So that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going in soon for another scope just to like double check, but I feel like I'm still feeling really good. So that's nice.
That's great. When you moved to Nashville, what surprised you most about the scene there that maybe you hadn't thought about? Or I'm going to tell you, I went to college. I went to Belmont there 100 years ago.
Oh, I went to Belmont.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
oh,
that's amazing. But
okay,
that's cool that you did too.
Yeah, I was there. I was there in the 90s, so it was a long time ago. But I will say, for me, I'm going to quickly tell you what I think. You don't realize how small the music community is until you're in a place like that where everyone knows everyone. Did you sense that while you were there?
I did sense that, and I feel like a big part of it for me too was like when I was in Hawaii, I was gigging on the weekends and farming during the week, and that was like a part of my income. And then moving to Nashville, I didn't realize that musicians don't really get paid there, and I feel like that was unless you're like well known and have some clout, then you don't get. You have to play for free. And that was something that I didn't love about Nashville. But the community is great, and it is really crazy. Like everybody knows everybody.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's amazing. There's like this it's almost like a family tree that this person played with this person, and then they're connected through this person, and it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. And everybody's musicians and singer-songwriters too. That was something that shocked me and felt a little intimidating for me whenever I went, being like, you know, in a small community to a huge music community. And Austin's like that too, but I feel like it's a little different here.
Like you go to a restaurant and the server is probably someone there trying to get a record deal. Like
exactly.
That's just the way the entire town is. Yeah,
exactly.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah,
yeah.
Have you ever had any struggles, whether it was in Nashville or even now that you're in Austin, wanting to maintain your own voice as a songwriter or as a singer in an industry that it's constantly pushing trends? Have you ever felt like that, you know, wanting to stay grounded to be who you are? And if so, how do you reconcile some of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is something that I did face in Nashville. And with my team that I started working with, they were pushing me to be more of like an Americana, and to me, more of an Americana artist. And at the time, I was more pop folk. And that was like, I thought the idea was cool and interesting and new, but I was a little hesitant at first, and it was, and I gave it a try, and what's interesting is I ended up feeling like it was more me whenever I did it. And I love being in more of an Americana sound now. It feels more rooted, but it took me, I don't know, I guess my like pop folk time was really influenced by my Hawaii time. And then it felt like coming home to myself when I shifted. And I thought it was really interesting that they like sensed that this was a good genre for me. And I was resisting it at first because of that idea, because I didn't want to be told to be somebody that I wasn't. And I think it's important for me at least, in the music industry, to be like open to ideas and open to criticisms and open to coaching, and also stay rooted in who you are, and don't just and to just not fully fall into like needing to keep up with the trends, because that's part of why I also let go of the team that I was working with. I felt like they were like pushing me to be on social media in ways that didn't feel authentic to me, and that were more trend like and for virality and whatnot. And while virality can be great and help me with my career, it's not my goal as an artist. And if I can touch just a handful of people's hearts with my authentic self, my authenticity in my music that I really love and connect to, then instead of like, you know, cover songs that sound unique in my sound or something, then I am so much more happy to do that. And I literally like can't even force myself to be the other way. I have tried, and I just feel like I am like beating my head against the wall because it's just not me, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I applaud you for that first and foremost. And I think the moment that you start trying to go with whatever is the thing, I feel like it's always like a defensive thing. Like you're not doing it for the reason that first of all, that you started doing it. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
I would be second guessing myself all the time. And I think that there are a lot of musicians out there that, whether they would want to admit it or not, probably have a bit of an identity crisis because they're being something that someone else is telling them that they should be. And that's not who they want to be.
100%.
You know, it's like, you know, sometimes it's like, do you want to be yourself or do you want to be famous? And it's like, I think I would rather be myself, you know,
yeah.
if success, and I suppose some of it it depends on what your definition of success is. And if you're honest and you're who you are and you're getting across what you're wanting to say musically, I think that's success. That's the way I would define it,
100%. Yeah. And for me, it's funny because that's exactly what this last 2-year journey has had me asking myself, was if I were to end up going viral or something and being able to get my music to more ears, that'd be great because, it will be more financially sustaining. But success to me, I have really, truly learned, is getting to play music every day and have fun doing what I'm doing, collaborating with other people that I love, and being able to hopefully touch the lives of my listeners in a beautiful way. No matter the number, no matter the stage, it's interesting because I feel like, whenever I started, I didn't really have any big dreams or goals. I just wanted to get up and play. And, it was just fun to do that. And then as I grew and grew, I started getting clouded out, and my mind started getting clouded out by all of the typical dreams of what artists should go after, like the Grammys and being, on these huge stages. And while that, that would be cool, I've realized that that's not really, I thought at one point, that, oh my gosh, that would be the dream, getting a Grammy. But now feel like I've come to a place where I realize that that never was a dream of mine. And that's not really my dream. My dream is just to have fun playing music and be helping other people in the process. And it doesn't matter that I get an award or not. And so it's really interesting.
Wow, that's a beautiful statement. And then I think more musicians out there need to have that mindset that, I it's what am I really chasing ultimately, right? It's I want to be happy and honest with myself and honest with the people that are listening to what I'm doing. And if anything else is after that, okay, that's cool. But if not, that's okay too.
Yeah. I was listening the other day to another podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and her name is Kathy Heller, the host, and she was interviewing Jason Mraz, and he was talking about this too, how his goal was always just to get his regular gig at the coffee shop that he played at when he first started. And if he could do that and get people to continue to come out and just continue to write songs to make it an enjoyable process, that was winning for him. And everything that came after that was he was just living the life of his dream doing that. And everything after that was just icing on the cake and really cool. And I feel like that's what things like a Grammy and stuff, should be. And I understand, I see the value in an award like that, since I was brought that up. But because I do feel like after all of what I've realized, how much hard work music can take to really be successful, I recognize that that's a symbol of the hard work that you've put into it. And I think that is really beautiful to think of it in that way. But yeah, the ultimate goal is just to have fun doing what you're doing and being grateful that you get to do it.
Yeah, that's it. You mentioned social media earlier. Do you feel, and I'll share with you just a very tiny piece of it. The thing I dislike the most about doing this podcast is the social media part of it, because, and I don't even do it anymore. I have someone else do it. And because I just don't have the time for it. I don't have the patience for it. And I feel like it's a very tough thing to keep up with, because it's it has to be on this constant schedule, and you have to be, it's how am I going to have time to do the creative part of my job when I have to spend so much time focusing on what my next, my PR strategy for this thing that I'm trying to do, do you ever feel that way?
100%. Yeah. That is actually something that's been really strongly on my mind lately, because I recognize that social media is like, it's how we are able to market our music now. And it's necessary and it's addicting. And I'm not a video editor, but as an independent artist, unless you have a lot of money, you have to be a video editor and an audio editor if you want really good quality stuff. And I actually myself just launched a podcast in the new year. And so I'm doing social media stuff for both my music and my podcast now. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of in over my head. Like, I already didn't love the social media part with music, but I love being able to connect with fans, friends, and family. And I love being able to find new listeners for my music. But I lately have been really trying to strategize on how can I back off, because I feel like I'm spending like 60% of my time editing videos and scheduling posts. And it's just like, I haven't been as creative and haven't been writing as much because I'm like drained from that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy. So that's something I'm working on right now, trying to figure out. I think that I'm trying to like figure out how I can affordably get a video editor to help me out. And I've learned that like a scheduling platform helps to where I don't have to be on it every day. And I can just work on scheduling, like my podcast when I just scheduled out the next 2 weeks today. And that felt so lovely.
Oh, that's great.
But that alone even takes like, I don't know, 3 hours for me in the morning of like figuring out those clips and what I want to say and putting it all on the schedule and stuff. And I'm just staring at the screen like that for so long. It's not my thing.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Tell me about your podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah, so it's called The Authentic Heart, and it is interviewing other creatives, entrepreneurs. There's a lot of musicians on there because that's kind of the life that I'm involved in. And just interviewing kind of similar about the things like what we're talking about, like the challenges that they face and like how everyone is able to like stay rooted in their own authenticity through it all, through all the noise surrounding us in the world. And yeah, it's been really fun. And part of me with the whole like social media stuff we were just talking about, I'm contemplating on if I want to move it to audio only because of the whole video thing. So it's a work in progress, but I've launched in January. So it's been really cool. I feel like every time I sit down and have an episode with somebody and interview someone, it reminds me why I do it. And it feels very fulfilling. And so it makes all the hard work for it worth it. So yeah.
I couldn't have said it any differently, any better. That's the way I feel too. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of just administrative work that goes into making it happen.
Yeah.
But it is so rewarding. And I'll tell you, Amber, there's a part of it that for me, I'm as fulfilled doing this as I was ever doing music. There's something about it that I really enjoy. Now I'm just audio only. I'm thinking of going in the other direction, but I'm like, do I really want to do that to myself? Do I really want to add another, 4 hours to my week getting an episode ready, editing audio, video? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing. If you can get a video editor, I think that like that's my goal, is to get a video editor. And I use some AI, like for social media clips, I use an AI platform that helps with that. And it does help save a lot of time, but it still is a lot of work going through each one and doing tiny edits and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited about that podcast. That sounds fantastic. And I love the theme around it about just being authentic, because I think in the age of everything, AI to social media to just the technology in general, and just how we're closer than ever, but couldn't be further apart. I feel like that's the kind of the way that things are. Authenticity sometimes falls by the wayside. And I love that that's what you're focusing on in the podcast. I think that's really wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I decided to do it, is because I feel like the noise is just so loud with the digital age that we live in, and just all the crazy things happening in the world. And it's so easy to get caught up in it. And I wanted to give a space for people to turn to that can just like help them like root down into their own core. And like I start each episode off with an affirmation. Affirmations have been a part of my life for a long time that have helped guide me. And just doing little things like that to help people kind of root down into who they are is really nice.
That's amazing. Well, I'm definitely going to check it out. And
thank you. Maybe I'll have to have you on sometime and interview you.
Absolutely, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be fun. I it's funny, we went through this entire conversation so far, and I've not asked you what got you into music to begin with. Do you have come from a musical family? Do your parents play, sing, or what was your musical upbringing?
Yeah, it was my grandfather. My mom's dad was a musician. Back in his day, he was based in Houston, and he got pretty big out there. And he's very like, I feel like his style was very like Elvis. Like he was a performer, wonderful multi-instrumentalist, and he just loved music. It was his heart and soul. And when I lived in Marble Falls, which is 3 hours away from it, and I remember every summer I'd get to go stay with my grandparents in Houston for a weekend or something. And every time I'd go over there, he would just want to do music with me, and he'd always like or just like try to do something musical. There's a lyric video that I have of one of my songs on YouTube called Sunflowers, and I started out with a voice recording I found of him that is like introducing me as a little girl singing you are my sunshine. And that's just the kind of stuff he would do with me as a kid. He would like record a little CD for me of the like piano pieces that I was working on in my lessons, and he just always inspired me to do music. And he was really the only one in my family that did music. My mom's sister also is a gifted pianist from genes, I guess. And she's wonderful. And then I just dreamed of, when I was a little girl, Leanne Rimes was like my idol. And I wanted to be like Liam Rimes. And I kind of like went in and out of it as I grew up. And, based on my social influences, would let go of music and then return to it and let go. And I didn't really, I picked up the guitar the first time my senior year of high school, and I fell in love with it and would not do my homework. Instead, would go home and just like play 4 chords over and over again for like 4 or 5 hours straight until my fingers couldn't do it anymore. And from that point on, it was just kind of like therapy for me in my room. Playing covers, other people's music, and just singing to myself and my roommates in college. And didn't really understand that I could pursue it professionally, or didn't even have that thought until I lived in Hawaii and people started pushing me on stage. And I went to a songwriters festival out there called the Hawaii Songwriting Festival, and they teach independent artists how to make music or make money with their music. And that was the first time, that was where I met Jason Mraz. That was the first time where my eyes opened up to being able to pursue it professionally. So
yeah, that's awesome. What a fun lineage, grandfather, just the support system, and just feeling, that, yeah, you can do it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really sweet. And my parents saw that like I loved it, and when I was, I think I was in elementary school, they got me into piano lessons. And that was really my first time learning it. I had a love-hate relationship with it. I loved learning the piano, but I also didn't like practicing.
Yeah, I was right there too. I get it.
Yeah, but I'm so grateful for the time that I did that, because I got the basics like implanted in my brain, and that was really nice.
So I would love to hear about the single that you released back in January. Barefoot Days, right? Yeah, I would love to hear about that, about the origin of the song, and just the recording process of how that all came to be.
Yeah. So that song was inspired by my time in Hawaii, or my transition actually from Hawaii to Nashville. Whenever because I was farming out in Hawaii, and then going to Nashville in the beginning, I felt like it was quite a bit of a culture shock for me because we moved like right into the city, and I like started a day job there and was going to Belmont for the first semester that I lived there, and going into such a fast paced environment, like I felt like a turtle on a highway or something. Like it was so shocking to my mind because I was so used to just like, being around a handful of people every day and mostly being by myself on the farm. And then when I get off the farm, I would just go to the ocean. And so it was just a completely different life. And it took some adjusting to get used to. And so that idea, I actually create like through that experience, I had an idea and just came up with a song titled Barefoot Days. And then I brought that idea with the song title into a songwriting session that I had in Nashville. And then we just kind of came up with it in reflection of childhood, because it kind of is the same type of scenario, just missing those barefoot days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it. It's a great song. It all sounds great. The songwriting is great. It's the total thing. How was the recording experience for you?
Yeah, it was great. I recorded it with Matt Bronley. He is a producer based in Nashville, and he kind of just took charge of pretty much all of the production. I just gave him some references. I used like a Brandi Carlile song as a reference and some other like rootsy type of vibe songs with that. And we just kind of did it in a very low key setting. I recorded the vocals in his home studio, and then he, got a bunch of session musicians to lay down the track, and it was a fun, easy process.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how quickly those musicians can just make it happen. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love the song. It's great. And I encourage everyone to go out and listen to it. It's really, really good. So before we go, I'd love to hear about what you have on the horizon. Kind of what's the plan? You're now launched this podcast. You have this music thing happening. I mean, you have a lot going on. Tell me about what the future looks like.
Yeah. So the future right now, I'm focusing a lot on like building my set with my band, and we're going to start performing more. And I also, with Barefoot Days, I recorded another song in the studio with Matt. And so I've got another song ready to go that I plan to be releasing, I feel like by summer is the goal. And then in March, I'm actually going to be going back to Nashville to record another one. And so my goals right now are just like to get some more music out, start really pushing it and playing with my band and enjoying the ride.
That's amazing. Well, yeah. It has been such a pleasure getting to know you and hang out with you. And I'm so excited for you. I just think that great things are on the horizon. I mean, I think great things are already happening, but I think it's just going to go up from here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And it was so lovely to meet you too. And I look forward to hopefully having you on my podcast.
Yeah, you just let me know. I'll be there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great to connect with you.
Yeah. Thanks, Amber. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow or subscribe to the Bandwich Tapes wherever you listen, and consider leaving a rating or review. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.